What's up, everybody? Welcome back to PLD Projects. Welcome back to reView. We are continuing on our long journey through the V saga. We are in season 1 of 1 in the 1984-85 weekly series, episode 8. This is The Dissident. I'm your host, PLD, and with me, as always, Miss Lego. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm kind of wishing I looked up the word dissident because I don't actually know what that means.
You don't know? Oh, okay. Well, dissidence is someone who is kind of like, I'd say, obviously, it's for our scientist friend Jacob, who we'll talk about. He is someone who is against somebody, even authoritarian rule, against somebody like that. So he is a dissident to the visitor invasion, as it is. Someone who's against something, basically.
Normally, I have a fairly good vocabulary, but not always. But don't worry, guys, because I'm bringing the math tonight. I did a lot of it.
Oh, there's math. I was told there'd be no math, so I will let you handle all of that. You did tell me something else you did tonight. I'm awaiting that as well. Some lyrics or a new theme song, as it's to be. But we'll get there. We'll get there. This is an episode which, as a child, it's amazing because like I said before, I grew up watching V. I watched this live on TV when it happened, and I remember liking this one quite a bit. Basically, I realize now that it's because Donovan grabs a laser again for the first time since the original, the miniseries, the final battle, or at least since the. He had one again. He probably had one other time, but I liked it when he used the laser. So he's smart because I was like, "Why do you have the bullets? You have all these laser guns around you." I knew now it's budgetary reasons, but for whatever reason, he got to throw his gun aside, smartly grab a V laser pistol, and start using that. It was fun again. So I got a lot of pew pew, a lot of fun that way. I do realize now the shortcomings of this episode. There are quite a few. But at the end of the day, I still get a little Mike and Ham, and that's kind of all I need to make it through the day.
I mean, there's a lot of. It's the mark of Zon, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've started saying it was the mark of Zonsense. It's Zonsense. Utter Zonsense.
I do think this might be the last time it's any significant.
But he gave her a prophecy-esque sort of thing.
I know. Well, they did that before. This was the furthering of that prophecy. This is definitely the last time we've taken that serious. I think from now on, you might hear an occasional by Zon or Amon, or like they might mention that in passing, but like nothing like significant like this. So you can ignore it from now on, pretty much. Well,
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you gotta go. You gotta commit.
100%.
You gotta commit. They did not commit, and I therefore do not respect them.
Fair enough. Maybe they were trying to make it a long burn. Maybe it was gonna be a long con, like it's supposed to be season 5. She would actually get her prophecy, or I don't know. Maybe I don't think they actually thought that far out. Everybody has high hopes when you're in the 80s. You're high all the time, high like cocaine. So you probably thought, yeah, we'll make it 3 seasons, 4 seasons, 5 seasons. Unfortunately, they were wrong. Very dead wrong. But this episode, it was we started off, of course, as we usually do, with our Howard K. Smith, Freedom Network, and the Freedom Network Medal of Valor, martial law in Athens, Greece, and Janet Weinberg freeing 250 captives to become the Medal of Honor Week winner. But what struck me most is something that I never really thought about until now, and I'm not sure if it's right or not, but is it a bit weird? Because we always hear about the visitors conquering places and invoking martial law and things like that. This is not supposed to be like this is not Germany taking over Poland or anything like that. This is not like a country taking over another country. The visitors are there to take us and eat us and take us prisoner. So it's kind of weird to me that they're doing this kind of like warfare like they're doing. Like, why are they invoking martial law? They shouldn't even be getting that far. If you're winning, they're taking you and putting you away. They're not like living with you.
Well, they did live with us in the whole first miniseries.
True, but like now that the cat's out of the bag and they declared all-out war, it feels a little strange. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, like how many people were on the planet in 1985? Like it's a lot of people. I think we've doubled the population since then, but let's say 3 billion. You know, it's a lot of people to deal with. how many visitors are there? Like, does their population outnumber ours, or
I
what?
don't know. I have no idea.
Like, they probably want us to continue to like cattle. You gotta put the male and the female in the stall and give them some I don't know, hay. I don't know how cows make more cows,
Great.
really, but you know what I'm saying.
I would like to see you in charge of the scientific programming. Let's see what happens.
I'd be Malcolm. Life finds a
Finds
way.
a way. There you go. You would make a great Malcolm. You would be a great Malcolm in a reboot of Jurassic Park, or what you're going to play Malcolm now. So okay, I guess it does make sense that they would breed him and conquer him that way. I guess that does make a little sense. It just feels weird because humans aren't like cattle in terms of like how do they live in a martial law knowing that the visitors are not there to like let them live in a way? It's kind of like but I guess it does make sense enough that it's I can let it go. So good on you. You convinced me enough to let it go.
I mean, I'm kind of right there with you, and like none of it makes sense, but like I can try.
There you go. Hey, that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for. All right, so we go past the Freedom Network broadcast, and we get a little panning, and we get Kyle and Ham together. An interesting side. It's not Donovan.
I mean, they've been teaming up a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's mostly been Donovan and Ham, but Ham and Kyle have had their moments. Ham has
what we haven't really seen is Donovan and Kyle.
That's true. That's true because they never really had any kind of interaction. It's always been Ham and Kyle. A little bit, unless Donovan's been there. Like last episode, he was there with Ham, but it's still mostly Ham and Kyle. But I love the setup right away. Ham has his great lines. He always has great lines. This episode had a lot of great Ham and Donovan lines, but specifically Ham right away, never relax, and sparking some fear. I'm surprised Kyle didn't need to change his pants. He was very scared of Ham after that. And of course, his line following that, thought we were supposed to have faith in each other. Faith is for nuns and amateurs. I want a quote book from Ham. I want a quote book from Ham Tyler. I'm going to actually wish I'd been writing down all the great quotes from Ham Tyler. We could have made that a solid at the end of the end of our podcast. We could just have the greatest Ham Tyler quotes. Might have to do that, so.
Be fun.
Let's write that down. Maybe that, or maybe have Donovan too. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll workshop that as we go forward. So they meet. They're going to supposedly to meet a munitions truck. They get down there. It's kind of funny. They sneak through the woods and they get down to the broad open space of the highway. Like just kind of waiting there at that point. When the truck vaporizes.
Yeah. Okay. I have many questions. Did they have an appointment with the munitions driver to get the guns?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a Bates truck or if it was
because that's what I was thinking. Like they were there to steal the guns.
Yeah,
so then did Diana vaporize one of Bates's ammunitions trucks?
And if not, then that's how they're doing it. The resistance is just driving a big truck of weapons across the highway into the open city.
It's a pretty well-driven highway. Many questions, but more to the point. These dumb boys, this is what I wrote. These dumb boys ran up to where the vehicle just got vaporized. Like, no, run away from it. Run away.
Like, at least stand there. At least just stand there and go, "Holy, what the fuck?" Have that conversation there. Go, well, "What the hell?"
I would assume we could move and vaporize other things. They had satellites in the 80s.
You don't know what it is, and you're going to run to the exact spot that it was. And I got to tell you, my eyes are looking at that going, Kyle's getting really close to that white mark. Is he going to run right into the force field?
I mean, maybe they got Nikola Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower working or whatever.
That absolutely could be. It could be.
But the visitor said, I don't know, it bothered me so much. He said it overloaded the binary code. I don't think that's how that works. And he's like, he needs to have a relay. I'm like, relayed to what?
I don't know.
More data, because like if it's overloading, I just don't think that was correct terminology.
I think there's a lot of jargon in there that they're looking to go, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to really care about it. Just sound intelligent. Throw some words out there.
Yeah, the wrong ones.
I think so too.
What do you want to do? A trinary code? Base 5? I don't think any of these are going to help you.
They should have just made up some words and would have been better. totally like
Yeah,
neon
like we could only use one. We can only do it once, and then the cyber crystal has to reload.
Right. It just can't. Like crystals can't sustain themselves for whatever reason. Easy done. What's
We
not
only had
done?
one tablet of plutonium. We can't. What was I thinking?
Exactly.
1.21 gigawatts.
What heavy. Now, one thing that didn't happen is Diana is testing out the new force field. I don't know if you noticed when she got a snack. Was it funny to you how obvious it was that she didn't actually pick up one of the bugs that was actually in the jar?
Oh, I think I was just so distracted by the bugs. I looked
She
away.
reaches her hand in. She obviously has like a candy one in her hand or something because she reaches her hand in. Well, it just goes like this, barely doesn't really open her hand or anything, and takes it out. I'm like, okay.
I think I was just too distracted and I didn't catch it.
That's fair. I totally get that.
Like I would, if a magician was doing something and it involved bugs, I would completely think what he did was real magic because I would just be looking away.
It is part of the what did Diana eat this week? We had spiders last week, or a couple weeks ago. Oh, last week actually. Big hairy spiders last week. This week it's just these little bugs. But yeah, it was pretty false. Let's put it that way. Not quite as false as this YouTube video I saw, or a TikTok I saw the other day, showcasing Dawson's Creek having no budget for snow. And I never noticed before. There's an episode of Dawson's Creek where they walk into the snow. Joshua Jackson after, I think, Dawson. And they're obviously, when you look at it, they're walking on white blankets because they're not going into the snow at all. It's like actually stepping. If you actually look at it, they're walking on white blankets. It's
I don't remember this at all. And I literally just watched the first 3 seasons.
Oh, did you? Okay. Well, was there a snow episode? Do you remember any episodes? I know they don't have a lot of snow. I don't think in there.
No, they don't have. I was trying to think of an episode with snow, and really nothing's coming to mind. I think maybe in the 4th season when they were doing that drunk driving episode. Maybe there's snow there because they definitely have episodes where they're wearing like jackets because they're cold and stuff. But I don't recall a lot of snow, which is weird because Cape Cod I always assume is in like Connecticut, maybe.
Cape Cod's up Massachusetts. Yeah,
Massachusetts, same thing. I live on the East Coast. I don't know any of the little states. I just realized how close I am to Delaware. I had no idea.
Yeah. Cape Cod I used to go to quite a bit as a child from Albany, so I'm not too far away, but. Yeah, that definitely gets a lot of snow. So I don't know why they didn't have as much snow, but
because these places never have snow. They just don't. Gilmore Girls did it better.
Fair enough.
Did the best.
Probably. No slight, James. I'm still your buddy. I went to school. I went to school with James Vanderbeek in college. He was in my a cappella group for a season. For the 2 years he was there. A lot of fun.
Also rewatching How I Met Your Mother, and he was Robin's
first boyfriend or fiance. Yeah, I remember that.
Like basically her first boyfriend. But I'm trying. Robin Sparkles. Oh my god, I'm starting to question my own dedication to Sparkle Motion. He's Robin Sparkles' boyfriend, and in one of her music videos, Robin Thicke.
Yes.
Alan Thicke.
Famed Canadian Alan Thicke, yes.
So bad with names.
I get that. Another great show. I do love that one as well. But back to the show we're actually talking about now. The bugs weren't quite as bad as that, but they were still pretty bad.
But they were icky.
They were definitely icky bugs. All right, so they run away, they get away to try to figure out what's going on. And we shift, of course, over to Kyle's new house, which is a very nice house, considering he's supposedly cut off from Nathan, and I would guess kind of on the run as a resistance fighter, I would think. But yet,
what's realty like at this point, you think?
That's a great question. I guess you can get a seal.
I'm assuming there's a lot of, it's an open city, so I'm assuming there's high demand to get there. And with all these casualties, I'm assuming there's a lot of houses on the market.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's probably a buyer's market.
I wonder if Kyle even bought the house. Did he just take a house that somebody got the visitors take them and he's just kind of squatting? Maybe that would. And
he's gonna tell him no, right? Because he's Kyle.
Exactly. Bates. Maybe that's a good question about the real estate because it's high demand, but also being an open city. I bet you a lot of people would be coming to try to live there. But I got to feel like Nathan would be trying to keep people out because you wouldn't want mass immigration into the city.
He totally would.
You think so?
Yeah, more
or
people to
floats
rule
it.
over.
Well, that's true, but also kind of the one trying to keep an eye on things and make sure he doesn't want to be able to be overruled.
So I do feel like it might be a vetting process.
That's definitely true.
And I don't mean like
Money.
people getting into the United States. No, I'm talking HOAs. Serious
Absolutely.
stuff.
I mean, we give Nathan enough money, you probably can get him pretty easily. That's probably the big point. So
I don't know. Do you think he could be bought? Like he's rich already. I think maybe you'd have to have some other kind of bargaining tool.
It could be.
Like I have 100-year-old bottle of wine.
You could probably buy that. Yeah, sure. We can make
cigar.
We can make a room for you. Yeah, absolutely. But either way, Robin is dozing in the house, and we get the nightmare and get some old footage from the original miniseries and the final battle, and you'd see Brian, and all it did was go, "Oh, remember these days?"
I wrote, it's Robin's greatest hits and worst moments because we really needed to relive them.
That's very, very true. It's funny. One thing I remember again going by childhood, I never had the original miniseries or Final Battle on tape at this point. So I remember being very excited because I got Final Battle footage. So I got to see, oh, that's the Final Battle. Yay. I got to see a little bit of the Final Battle for 30 seconds. Of course, it was the worst parts about it, but that's okay.
I mean, okay, but Robin killing Brian was a great moment.
That was pretty, yeah.
And that was her greatest moment.
The birth was pretty fun, too. I mean, it was a little cheesy. It was pretty fun. It was a fun birth. I loved it.
I don't like gynecological horror.
That's understandable. I guess that's understandable. But I do appreciate a good lizard baby, so I'll take that.
Justice for Lizard Baby. They chalked this child up to be a monster, but he was just an innocent little Lizzie, just wanted whatever lizards want. Crickets?
Yeah. Crickets, yeah.
To live.
Micey.
Yeah. Mousies.
Do we even name the kid? I forget if we even named the kid.
I think so.
I think they do in the novel, but I can't really remember.
And did they even give him a proper burial? I think I asked that back then, but it's just like I think her dad experimented on the body. Like this is tragic and disgusting.
Well, we know they did. We know they experimented on the body a little bit because they took the blood samples for Elizabeth and the baby, and
I feel like he's in not a mason jar, but like one of those big jars.
He's pickled. He's like pickled.
Like in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably true.
I didn't know I was going to be coming here with so many Jurassic Park references. It wasn't intentional.
It's all about the park today. But that's okay. I'm here for it. That's a fun series. So, all right. So next up, we get another Bates and Diana.
Well, okay, but hang on. Sorry, a little before that, Kyle shows up to comfort her, and she has BLD. This girl has kissy face.
Oh, she definitely
She's making lusty eyes at Kyle.
Yes, she
is. Then I wrote, I quit, flip the table. Had to walk away for a minute.
Well, Kyle doesn't really respond to it. He kind of responds to it with like a little I don't know what's going on. So Kyle obviously knows what's going on, but doesn't really know how to say it.
This 21 Jump Street boy knows. He knows.
He definitely knows she's sniffing around, but I don't know if he knows how to reject somebody. He feels like he's just too nice. He's like a 21 Jump Street guy, but part of him is a little Jason Priestley from Beverly Hills 90210 a little bit though. Like
you know
nice.
What? You're not wrong. But also in doing that, okay, I'll give it to you. Unintentionally is being way more mean.
Yeah, no, he is. He's actually leading her on in a way unintentionally. I don't think he wants to. He just doesn't know how to do any better. He is pulling the if I ignore it, hopefully it'll go away, which works never in this kind of situation. Never. Oh well. Well, that's going to continue in a little bit. Before that, we get another Nathan and Diana conversation about the relay that's needed at Science Frontiers. Why it's needed at Science Frontiers, I don't know. Visitors have their own embassy. They should be able to do it there without any problems.
Okay. So, a relay would require. Oh my God, I can visualize them. I can't think of the word.
Like servers, computers.
Yes, servers.
Okay.
requires servers. An embassy, would they have servers? Because I'm thinking no, but scientists would have computers and have a lot of data, so they may have.
Wouldn't the visitors have their own servers?
I don't know, PLD.
I mean,
what kind of technology are they rocking?
I think they're kind of technology that they can make it from one planet all the way across the galaxy to another planet. I gotta figure they have their own computer systems. They should. That's actually even thinking about it even better. They probably have their own computer systems. Instead, they have to like mix and match with the humans' computers, like Independence Day all over again.
Well, if they're using a binary system, it's the same as ours, and that would be completely easy to integrate.
You would think so, but we don't know what they even know what binary means, so we don't know if they're actually rocking that or not. It's just kind of jargon they're using.
Binary. He said it.
They say a
and
lot of
things.
things.
Got overloaded.
They say a lot of things. I mean, I guess I could admit that Diana probably wants to at least get Nathan's okay, because Nathan's obviously, if the force field just automatically happens, Nathan's going to be pretty pissed. So I guess you go there and sweeten the loan and say, hey, but you'll be able to control it too.
I got a lot of questions, but it's fine.
It's fine. Exactly.
I think my biggest question is, why does that grid come on their screens when it's not there in real life?
That's a good question. That is a great question. But I like the grid.
Resident Evil.
I love it. It does seem very 80s sci-fi. It's a very sci-fi 80s thing, so I kind of dug it. Here's my question though. So Nathan agrees to it after a little bit of talk, a little bit of conversation.
Some negotiation.
Yeah. And he gets a foolproof code of 4 letters.
PLD. I wrote, if it's Kyle, Kyle, I'ma slap him. But I do think it's important because he's like, he essentially asks how easy that would be to hack. And she says 4 letters in any combination. So that's 26 to the 4th power, which is 456,976.
Right.
And she does say it's half a million.
Just close.
That's close. But like, dude, it's 4 letters. And you did Kyle. At least do it backwards, EY or ELYK or something.
Or do the whole put the first letter last or something. Yeah, I get it. But even so, I know what actually obviously was a writing thing. Like, we want to have the password be Kyle, but we're talking about visitors who have a doomsday device that is a big code breaking machine for everything else that we were learning in the final battle. You think they couldn't
come up with that? Now we're getting into computers, and I'm looking for a hacker.
Right? Absolutely. I mean, I just feel like even for the 80s, that seems like a bad security choice to have only 4 letters.
Now I'm just looking for that little Jurassic Park girl to come up here. I know this. Just go at it.
This really is the Jurassic Park episode. All right. All right. So Bates agrees, and they're going to set up in the basement of Science Frontier, so that's fine. Next up, another problem. Donovan and Ham decide to kidnap the head visitor military attaché from the legation, the LA compound.
Which we'll get to the interrogation letter.
We're about to get there. But first of all, they let Willie confirm this guy. How the fuck does Willie know who this guy is? Willie is
man. PLD. Let's be real here. Willie knows everything. When you join the military for the visitors program, you have to learn who everyone is. You are given a picture of their alien face, what their human name is going to be, what their human face is going to be. I have a lot of questions about what the makeup's going to be a little later regarding Jacob, but
we'll get there too. A year later, though, a year and a half later, he's living with the humans now forever. I guess it's still the same guy, and he knows he's going to be there. He knows the schedule of when this guy's going to leave. This all seems very lucky and coincidental.
I feel like this episode should have been 2 episodes.
Yeah, I agree. See, this is the kind of case where they could have used Martin again. Martin on their military attaché?
100%.
Makes sense. And that sounds good. Willie is like, you're the token visitor. You must know everybody. So let's.
He's not face blind. I'm like, I know the name. He's got hair now.
Yeah.
I can tell you what his lizard face looks like.
There you go. All right, so let's get to that interrogation.
It's very Tango and Cash.
It is very Tango. It is good cop, bad cop. It's the best.
Oh, it's not even. It's bad cop, and you're fucked. My partner is crazy.
Ham works it perfectly. Donovan works it even better. Even like straightens out the guy's armor a little bit. It's so funny.
But the guy, he was so dumb or like naive. He's like, he wants to hurt me? No. What? Yes, he wants to hurt you. But I love Donovan's actual response with this. No. He wants to kill you.
That's the funny thing to me. I'm looking at this guy. How does this guy get to become the visitor military attaché guy? How does this guy
He's
get
a strategist. He's out there playing Risk. He knows how to do stuff.
I mean, you would think you would understand this kind of situation is exactly the kind of situation he's supposed to be bred for in a way. Because the military attaché is very much an embassy kind of guy dealing with this kind of this is the kind of thing you should be able to do. But he like folds like a cheap towel afterwards. I don't know what he's there for.
Speaking of cheap towels, I don't know. That was not a good segue. But Donovan is in here looking like he's ready to ready to go to be a porn star. He has 5 buttons on his shirt down. You could practically see his navel. PLD, we were almost seeing this man's kidneys.
We really were. I actually wonder if it's in Donovan's contract. I don't know if that's does he get more money? You open your shirt up and more. Every button you open it up, it's an extra bonus because we want to bring in the women viewers or something. I don't know. Maybe that's the case.
It's got to have been something. Or the shirt didn't fit. Or I don't know, something.
You know what though? Maybe Mark Singer is has a little McConaughey in him. Maybe he just has like his shirt on, so this is as close as he can get. You'd rather be shirtless, but they don't want to do that. So, but you're right. He is basically completely almost not clothed there. Hey, maybe he's trying to get the visitor attaché to be looking somewhere else. Maybe he's trying to. I don't know.
I was about to say that, but then I thought, nah. But that is very Tango and Cash of him.
That is very Tango and Cash. I love that movie. I gotta watch that again now. All right, then we go back to the mothership and we meet Jacob, who is
a confirmed pessimist.
Confirmed pessimist, yes.
Me too, brother. Me too.
That was one of Willie's better ones, I do think.
But he's used it before, hasn't he?
Did he use that one before?
I feel like he has, or something very, very similar.
There was something similar. I do remember that. I can't remember what it is now. That's another thing I should write down all the Willisms. Maybe I'll do that. I'll go back and at the end of the season, we'll talk up our best Willisms. So what do you think of Jacob? I think that Jacob actually was kind of an interesting addition, to the world building. As soon as
he came on, I'm like, oh, he's going to be a Zon guy.
He does.
He's going to be a Zon guy.
He's a little bit of a hippie in him, absolutely.
I have so many follow-up questions. Why is he not just a lizard man? Why is he not just a lizard man? All I want is lizard people, and they're not giving me the lizard people. Just do the makeup.
Just budget.
Do the makeup.
It's budget, but you're right. There should be just aliens walking around on the ship. There should be.
And then we'll talk about it later in regards to his eyes, but it's like you even went so far as to give him those contacts. Like in story, like do they even think about? They never had. No, they didn't. They never had the conversation of.
No.
But they're aliens and they're actually lizards and they're just dressing like us. They never stopped to have that conversation of what would make sense and what does not make sense for them.
They absolutely
ridiculous.
Because as what he is, as we are determining, we learn later on that he's blind. A big reveal. After he falls down, his glasses come up, and we see those cloudy eyes, and we're like, I wrote down actually my notes, what the fuck? Like, that's how you're showcasing that the visitor is blind because he's wearing a disguise with blind eyes, basically.
It just does not track. It does not follow. Is no bueno.
There were definitely easier ways you could have just showcased that. But he could have just stumbled and said, I can't see or something. I don't know. But either way, poor judgment on their parts, on the writer's part, on the story showrunner's parts. But I try to like stuff I do. And I try to I like the idea of Jacob as the head of the Science Institute. I love getting a little more of that world building from that, even though we never really dive further into it later on. But it does open up different areas that we could have gone later on. I do like seeing, of course, John McLean, who plays Jacob. We had seen him best known for his part probably in First Blood, where he plays the guy who Brian Dennehy goes to track Rambo in the woods with the dogs. You're shaking your head. Have you never seen First Blood?
I've seen it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I just thought it was very boring, and I just don't really remember much of it.
Oh, wow. That boring. That's not what I would use to describe that.
Please don't tell Rob.
Rob. Oh, you're safe here. Rob probably doesn't watch this show, so you're probably safe.
So safe.
I won't say anything. Your secret's safe with me. But anyway, so I do like the character of Jacob. Unfortunately, like most things in the series, even the good things that are brought up tend to peter out and go nowhere fast. But yeah, so all right.
Tragic. Because it's just so episodic.
Yeah.
And I think that's its undoing.
It really is, because this is the kind of show that needs a to B to C to keep it going the right way. Because when you do the episodic thing, it just becomes a never-ending battle, and it's why are we here, really?
Yeah, I do think it needed a focused big mission for an entire season arc, and then it's also okay to do the one-off episodes, like the Monster of the Week situation. But
absolutely,
this was made pre-Monster of the Week, so they just didn't have that story formula, created for them by the X-Files and Buffy, the greatest shows ever made.
When you had the miniseries, they obviously they were one big story over 2 episodes, final battle over 3 episodes, and yet the final battle actually did have episodic moments, but it still was all in service of the big overall story. This started that way a little bit with Liberation. The first 2 episodes kind of had their thing going. It was nice, okay, but just did peter out to the point where it was just okay, Diana has to eat something this week. Diana has to have some kind of plot or somebody, and the Resistance have to have a mission to go on to stop the plot, and that's it. So there's no end game in sight, and that's part of the problem. But anyway, all right, so we go back to Resistance headquarters, and they start talking about Jacob, and Willie again knows who Jacob is. I guess that makes more sense. This guy seems to be a big head of the Science Institute or whatever. I guess that makes a lot of sense. What doesn't make sense, though, to me, again, Donovan and Ham decide we're going to sneak aboard the mothership, raid the mothership, and bring Jacob back. Just the 2 of them. The 2 of them are going to raid the mothership and get Jacob. If you were back when the original happened, it was considered suicidal for Donovan to try to sneak aboard the mothership and find other plans.
They've done it so many times now. It's child's play. They can get up on that thing anytime they want. And in fact, I think at this point, it's a little ridiculous that they haven't and tried to blow it up. I guess or drive it back into space. Something. I just feel at this point, they have so many options. They really could have destroyed that ship.
When you think about it, they haven't gone on the mothership too much, because the final battle they attack. Okay, final battle, I understood. It was a whole assault force doing it, right? But since the series began and they got the mothership up into space again, they don't really go on the mothership very much. It's more about the LA legation stuff that they were kind of breaking into, which was also way too easy. But I buy that. Going into the mothership should have been a bigger deal. And I feel like when Donovan and Ham decide they're going to be a 2-person, going up.
And going up to get Jacob and then simply leaving.
Right.
Guys, I don't know how to talk to you about priorities.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But there's a conversation here, because now they're going to up their security and you're not getting back on that mothership.
Again, you're screwing up, guys. You're screwed up bad. Speaking of shifting focuses, the next thing we get to is some of our favorite storylines of the series here. We get Kyle and Elizabeth starting to kind of, she kisses him. He's happy about it. He makes a little bit of love talk, which is very cheesy and very bad. And then the funny thing about it is, I love the fact when she kisses him, she says, "I'm sorry, I didn't know I'd do that." "Oh, yeah, that makes 2 of us. I think you should do it more often." and not even waiting. Oh, so you and Robin are finding everything okay? Everything's good. Like it's a quick like jump to like something else. I'm like, so you're gonna let that go just that quickly, huh? The 2-year-old just kissed you, and you're not gonna talk about this now. You're gonna jump to Robin. Okay.
He asked her out on a date.
Well, he does that after he talks, but he jumps. The weird thing is jumping to that thing, and then goes back to the date.
Oh, I mean, all this dialogue is garbage, but that's fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So they're all living together, and this is where I rewrote the Three's Company theme.
Let's hear it.
So, come on, knock on their door. Robin's crying in blue. Kyle's wooing her daughter. Ugh, Elizabeth grew. Something for all of us.
Very well. Very good. Very good. That should get some consideration come award season for sure. So Kyle leaves and Robin comes out, and it's even cringier dialogue if possible.
Oh, tragic.
Just you're probably gonna think I'm crazy, but I think I'm in love with him. Robin. How does Robin not know? I mean, I know she's stupid, to be honest with you, but like that's just stupid. Like she can't watch Kyle.
She's very self-centered, I think is the most accurate word that isn't colorful I can use to describe her.
I guess so, but
I don't think she really notices anyone around her.
Oh, because she doesn't even notice that Elizabeth obviously has feelings for him, because Elizabeth is not hiding it at all. It's very poor. She's like not happy about this, but Robin's like,
Kyle isn't either.
It's gonna be great. It's like, Robin, you sure what's going on here? Do you have any clue? No, you don't. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, also she just like moved in with this guy.
Right. Oh God, I don't know what's going on
with her daughter. It's giving weird. It's giving strange.
That's one word for it.
And another thing is she's just comfortable leaving her daughter alone with Kyle. That's a little. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that this is definitely a weird situation. You got a 2-year-old who's 17 now or whatever, or looks 17.
And then Kyle's just like treating Elizabeth like she's not a child.
Right.
Like even though he knows she is, he's just kind of ignoring that.
Yeah, he's like willfully denying it, kind of thing.
Definitely still. Any way you look at it, she's definitely younger than him. And also, you live with her literal teenage mother. Like, bro, you cannot take this little kid on a date.
Nobody's fault. Feelings just happen, Lego. As Kyle says, feelings just happen.
I feel like this is a very inappropriate argument that he should be making to a judge. Or like, maybe Donovan does need to have a talk with Kyle about what statutory is.
I mean, Ham could too. Maybe, I don't know. I don't feel like maybe Ham would like knock some sense into him, maybe, but
I feel like Ham wouldn't care. But Donovan's very dad energy.
True. Yeah, somebody should talk to them. That's for sure. Somebody should talk to them.
Julie could just slap him upside the head. Just like, stop it. Elias could really give him a talking to.
Elias.
That'd be fun.
Elias has got to know what's going on. He's no dumb cookie.
I feel like Kyle and Elias, like as we go all the way, as we Doc Brown it back to the original OG miniseries, they would have been so good together.
Yeah, that would have been a good team. Absolutely.
That would have been a great team.
I could see that. Damn it. If only. Unfortunately, not to be. All right, we jump from the Three's Company routine to Julie looking into the new room that's in the basement.
She's giving dumb. She's giving dumb
vibes. She's giving dumb blonde vibes. Let's be honest there.
Like, I was going to say it, but I stopped myself.
I'm not. I won't. I'll say it for you. For someone who's so smart, who's depicted as so smart, she is just flopping around down there like nobody's business. Like, what are you doing? What do you like? You're looking in there.
I mean, the room says top secret, no one allowed. Like, It's not difficult. It doesn't matter how high up you are or like how trusted you are. That's not where you're supposed to be, girl.
Right.
That's not how this works.
If it says top secret, no admittance, and you don't know about it, then you don't have the clearance, despite her claiming it to Nathan a couple minutes later. Although I will say, I do like this conversation between Nathan and Julie. Because it finally feels like Nathan still has a weakness for her, but is finally at least like saying, look, you got to know your place here. I am showing a lot of trust in you. I like you, but you push me too far and you're not going to be happy, pretty much.
Yeah, like this one, I will say, I was a bit on his side.
Yeah, same. He is the head. He is the head in charge. He's the person in charge. She has to follow his rules. She works for him. Oh, you can walk out the door. That's what it is.
Although I did want to mention that she was thwarted by a mustachioed visitor. And I also want to talk about PLD. They made fake mustaches for these people.
I did think about that as well. As someone who is also a fellow stasher, I was happy to see it, but at the same time, it is a little nuts at this point that they decided to do that.
They gave it no thought whatsoever.
Do we have anybody before? I don't remember if we had any facial hair.
I was trying to think if I'd seen any mustaches or beards, and I really couldn't recall.
I can't recall anybody off the top of my head. I mean, I guess when you're trying to blend in, maybe you would make up for that because that's a very human thing to have. So it kind of makes them feel more at home to see. Maybe because if you didn't see any visitors with facial hair, I don't know if it was.
No, I think, hair and eyebrows are really all you need.
But if you already have the hair, maybe a guy's like, you know what? Magnum PI is in. I want to look like Magnum PI.
I was like, don't say Tom Selleck. Don't say Tom Selleck. Don't say Tom Selleck. But, I mean, if we're going Tom Selleck, this man is no Tom Selleck.
No. Anthony DeLong actually he's had a long career. Mostly in like stunts and stuff, some acting things. He was in Roadhouse.
I was going to say he kind of looks like he just walked off a porn set. Glad I didn't say that out loud up until now.
He's actually still working today. Like he was in NCIS recently. Blood Trail.
NCIS still exists.
Yeah, it does.
How?
I don't
Literally how? Is Law and Order still on?
Some version of it is, I'm sure somewhere down there. I don't know if the original is, but they had like 50.
I knew a guy named Richard Wolf, and I really wanted to ask if there was any relation.
Probably not. You should have asked. That would have been great to know.
Oh
man. But yeah, he was in a lot of stuff over the years. He was in Arrested Development. He was actually in the Highlander TV series twice.
I don't recall him.
He's probably a
I've been thinking of giving it another rewatch.
I have to find out. I saw it in his IMDb at one point. It was like he's in 2 episodes as 2 different characters. So, a couple of the Star Trek episodes as well. So he kind of made his rounds along the way.
He's one of those actors who's on those shows that every actor has been on.
Absolutely. And he was terrifying clown number 2 in Batman Returns. So he has had some moments for himself. But maybe his high point was Galen in V. I don't know.
I mean, Galen's a dope name.
It is a dope name. I actually like that one quite a bit. So, okay, so he is there. He lets Nathan ream Julie out, and Julie kowtows. And it's okay. She says, okay, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm going to leave. So then she, of course, brings this information back to the headquarters where we see Donovan and Ham trying to figure out everything. Kyle going to be the getaway driver as they land the Skyfighter somewhere outside the city. But Julie comes and talks to Donovan about the lab and how they don't have access to it. And it's weird that Donovan has this moment with her. I don't know if you noticed it. She says some kind of relay system. And she says, you realize how insane this is, right? And Donovan looks at her for a second and just goes, you're like this relay smile.
System? I don't know if that's a thing or not.
I don't know what it is either.
I do web design. This is a little beyond me, but none of these things. Relay, because that's like how the internet works. But like what they're talking about, what are they talking about?
relaying signals, I guess, but a system that does, I don't really know.
None of this is really tracking for my brain, but it's fine. This is like a lot of 80s like horror movies where they're using technology to either, create some sort of evil or destroy some sort of evil. And I'm over here like, so you're what now?
What? Huh? The 80s are definitely a decade where you just kind of smile and nod at that kind of stuff. You're kind of like, you either buy into it or you don't.
But it's also, I feel like it's a lot of times it's the writers don't quite know what they're talking about either.
That's true.
So
That's
it's even more off-putting. So like, okay.
The writers definitely don't take a lot of time with it, and that's just what it is. But it is the fade. It's the Mark Singer classic Mark Singer face, though, and like he doesn't answer her at all. I think he goes, you know what I do? This is insanity, right? And he just goes and pats her on the shoulder and walks out. It's a great Mark Singer moment.
He doesn't need words.
He doesn't. But
and that's the mark of a true actor, I think.
I would agree with you on that. He lets Sam have the word as he walks out because she's like looking pretty exasperated, and he says, "Hey, don't take any wooden computer chips." I don't even know what Ham's really trying to say there. I really
didn't even catch that line.
That's what he says. Hey, don't take any wooden computer chips. Like it's supposed to be like, don't take any wooden nickels, like fake money. But I don't know what Ham's trying to say in this situation. I really have no idea.
Maybe he thinks he's making sense, but he is not.
He does not have.
Like me, or like Biff from Back to the Future. Make like a tree and get out of here.
Get out of here. Sounds about right. All right, then we go back to Kyle's home base, and Kyle doing the 80s montage of getting all the weapons together and everything else, says, best you do, guns in the left, guns in the right, guns in the back. And then Elizabeth comes out, but then is interrupted by Robin, who goes to kiss Kyle. And here we are, Kyle. You can't deny it anymore. You may have been willfully trying to deny that she was into you.
This moment was so awkward for everyone, PLD. It was awkward for the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
It was awkward for Kyle, who just stood there with nothing, blank. And then you could tell when Robin was walking away, oh, this wasn't it.
Ooh.
This is not it.
Right.
I don't know if I want to see what happens the next episode with this fallout.
Ooh, I don't know either. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of starting to get into the melodrama. Is this why people watch those soap operas?
Soap operas? I think it might be.
It's a little interesting.
I like that you're getting into it. That makes me smile. All right, then we jump to Donovan and Ham sneaking into the LA legation again. And this time they're sneaking on top of a truck.
I had to leave at this moment. I'm like, they are literally on top, like a train. They're like on top of this truck while it's driving.
Hands on the side.
Children.
There's a second story to the legation. You know this. Better or worse than the van with rats?
Worse. This is the worst.
Because I agree.
Worst.
I agree because if you watch the truck, it actually travels right in front of the legation, and you can see that it's below the second story, and you've seen visitor guards in the second story. So how do they not get caught? I don't know.
Ridiculous. And also they do that. Didn't they do that to steal uniforms?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm crazy, PLD, but we have seen them in visitor uniforms before, which would imply they have visitor uniforms.
They have stolen plenty of uniforms over the course of the series, but miniseries. So and I don't understand why do they just throw them out at the end of the day? They best like throw them out and never. I don't know why they would.
What are you doing?
I mean, if you remember, at the end of the final battle, Martin brought them a whole shit ton of uniforms.
They did not remember. These writers did not remember.
So yeah, that's how they get the uniforms. They go to a place where there's two guards. The guards open the door, and Donovan does the whole, I'm going to make a sound in the bushes. And they come to look at them, and they knock them out, of course, and get the
Which is that maybe the oldest trick in the book?
Yes, probably the oldest.
I think that is the oldest trick in the bush.
Oldest trick in the bush. There's no book even yet at this point.
This is predates writing. You're telling me there were no velocipastors? Velocipastor? Raptor?
That's another movie, I
Whatever.
think.
I messed it up. We'll just move on.
Velocipastor. That sounds like a great thing.
That's like one of my favorite movies.
I don't deny that. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all.
Oh man, that was so bad. I can't recover.
Anyway, I actually had another question about this. They go to the Skyfighter and they board the Skyfighter, which of course now without the voice changing issues, that's not as much of a problem. However, right, but however, it's like a small Skyfighter, it looks like. It's not even like one of the shuttles. So like, is this Skyfighter just happened to be going across? Like, don't you figure that somebody has to like requisition the fighter to go back and forth? Or they're just like in uniform, just gonna so I'm just gonna go and they'll take me up.
I imagine it's like a bus, you know, we leave at the 30-minute mark.
That's what it is. It could be. That's probably the best way to figure it out.
Or if you don't live in a populated area, we live at the hour-minute mark.
All right, so they make their way up to the mothership. And then we go back to Kyle driving around.
Yes, we pause your action-packed episode of V to bring you Kyle and the Maxwells.
Kyle and the Maxwells, Three's Companies. The inspiration, actually, it was Three's Companies before this. So yeah, this is like a Three's Companies inspired show, a spinoff of some kind. But yeah, so Kyle and Elizabeth stop off. Well, Kyle stops off, and that's when Elizabeth pops out of the back seat. She's been hiding in the back seat this whole time. I don't know how long Kyle's been driving, but it feels like he's supposed to have been driving for a while. So she stayed pretty quiet and still for a long time. Good on her. I guess she's got a good sneak.
Didn't he say they were in Santa Carla?
I think he said something to that effect. I don't know how far away it is. I don't know my geography.
Santa Carla, I feel, is up by. I feel like that's up by. It's like an hour out of San Francisco, I think. So that's like an 8-hour drive.
Wow.
Or I could be way off.
It might not be. I don't know. I don't know necessarily what they said, but so it's probably not too far because they're close to the force field, so it can't be that far out of town. I would think. But either way, it might have been something in Santa Carla. It might have been something like Santa Carla or something. I don't know. Either way, Elizabeth does a good job of keeping quiet. However, here's my big question, my next big question, and the writers not even following their own show. So Elizabeth jumps out, and Kyle's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" kind of thing, and acts like Elizabeth shouldn't be there, yada, yada, yada. Wasn't it just last episode that Elizabeth went on a mission with the Resistance?
Yes, it was.
And they made a big deal about Elizabeth pulling her weight, and she wants to pull her weight with the Resistance. And she did a good job, I guess, technically, with the Overlord, you know, I know what men like thing or whatever, at least being there in the battle where she could help out. And yet, like, Kyle's like, we're back to, you can't be involved in this.
Because he's giving dad energy. He should be with Robin.
That's what it could be. Oh, that's even worse to think about. He starts going with Robin, and yeah, that starts getting like Woody Allen vibes at this point. So we're getting worse and worse.
Oh no, I would erase the whole. If I was a script doctor, I'm like, okay, we're erasing this whole Kyle and Elizabeth thing. Just have him with Robin, jeez.
Oh, but at the same time, do we really want that? I mean, Kyle's not that bad of a guy outside of this whole Elizabeth weird thing. Do we really want to saddle him with Robin? Ooh, I don't know. Kind of sad.
We're killing Robin off. Julie gets a nice young hunk of meat.
There you go. Julie and Donovan split. Donovan doesn't need her. Julie goes to Kyle. I like that. I'm good with that. Now it'd piss off Nathan too at that point.
Oh, that would bring them closer together.
Oh, that's true. That's true. How would Nathan react though if Julie went with Kyle?
I don't know.
You wouldn't be happy. I don't think
Kyle would totally get off on it.
Oh, Kyle totally would. He'd be like totally trying to like make. He'd be pointing it out to him. Yeah, I got Julie. What do you got? Nothing.
Power? What's that getting you? Happiness?
Nope. She's coming home to me. She may work with you, but she's coming home to me.
No matter what we were doing, it's creepy. Let's just.
It is. It is. The one like semi-normal relationship, Donovan and Julie are just being forgotten about, and all the other creepy relationships are going.
Wait, Donovan and Julie were in a relationship? I don't recall this.
been a while. It's been a while.
You have any evidence of that? There was none of that in the flashback. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. We didn't get any of that in the flashback. That was the last time they actually kissed. So they actually kissed on Liberation Day. I mean, Donovan swung her around and lifted her up. I don't know if he actually kissed her or not in the series. I can't remember.
I don't know.
They were going to celebrate. He did say she was about to be liberated. So
yes, there was implication. There's been implication of relationship. The last time though was when he was trying to save his, ill-forgotten child.
Who? Oh yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
That was like the third episode. So yeah, we're a while ago now at this point. All right. Well, we jump from the relationship back up to the mothership, and we get to see the new and improved conversion process. And I'm going to put in parentheses, the gotta be much cheaper rendition for television conversion process, which there's no big
They don't want to put this old man in that, skin-colored leotard. Really. No offense to this man.
I don't want to be ageist, but I kind of agree with him. I don't want to see that either at this point. But they just sit him down in the computer. It's an interesting conversion chamber. A desk.
It's just a room
with a belt, a metal belt, like holding him in there, and like I can see something in the chair. Like it even looks more like a headrest than anything else. But somehow some lights do go on his face. They still have some lights on his face.
They let him wear his bracelet. That'll come up later.
Yes, that does come up later. The Severium bracelet, or Severum, or whatever it is.
You got better than me. I just wrote bracelet.
I do want to say we do get the computer face of him when he's in the conversion, like that computerized version of his face, as he gets all colorful and stuff.
It's giving Max Headroom.
Yes, exactly. Donovan and Ham are on board the mothership. They knock out some guards randomly in the middle of the mothership. I guess it's clearing the road for them to get to where the conversion. I don't know how they know where the conversion thing is taking place.
We're not asking these questions. They just always know where to go and when to be there.
I mean, it's funny because at least the funny thing is you don't at this point. You're not supposed to. But later on, Ham does go, "Where's the flight deck?" Donovan goes that way.
Yeah, that really bothered me, actually.
You know, it's funny. That didn't actually bother me too much because Donovan by now probably does know where the.
Well, because they also say a flight deck 6. So meaning there are multiple flight decks.
True. Oh, well, maybe they're like on top of each other.
Maybe, I figured like there's, on a floor around.
You would figure
like
that
like a garage, like when people have like multiple car garages, sometimes they have the little thing to hold them up, support beams.
True. Well, maybe Donovan does know where he's going anyway. Maybe that's where they landed. He's just a good sense. He's better on the mothership.
Has Donovan been in these vents? He's got to know his way around.
Yeah, quite a few. So I wouldn't be surprised.
And yet he still hasn't been able to pull a Luke Skywalker and blow it up. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Or do anything else.
Have chunks of spaceship falling to Earth and killing people. So that's why I was a little resistant to suggest that.
There are the people that are on the board. Dom didn't want to blow up the mothership before because of that. I mean, I got to assume there's people back in the pods again, even though you can theorize that they got the people out of the pods when they won the final battle. But then when the visitors have had it back again, I'm sure the visitors have been putting people back. But then
they had that whole new thing where they don't need to do that anymore.
That's true.
You have so much room in this ship dedicated for food storage, which is no longer necessary.
Or was that destroyed when they blew up that? They blew up the facility.
Right. I don't know. Well, I mean, they have the
prototype is gone.
Make it, so they can.
Was the plans all there? All the people who wrote or who built the idea were there. Maybe they didn't keep good notes or something. I don't know. We don't really know.
I mean, this is the 80s, but clearly they have a lot of computer technology, so they probably have it backed up on a floppy or something.
So you would think that, wouldn't you? You would. I get that. But either way, Donovan's not blowing up the mothership. He's just gonna break into the station. Donovan and Ham are going to shoot up this conversion place, wherever it is. He grabs a laser, gets Jacob out, and they start running away. And this is where we get to the situation where we said before, Jacob falls, his glasses fall off. We see the blind contact lenses. Although Ham has the great reaction to it. He's stone blind.
It's so, PLD, it's so dumb.
It is
so dumb. these writers just really never considered that these are supposed to be reptilian creatures, and they just went with the cheapest thing instead of giving us good writing and Although I did like that the alert on the ship said, "Attention, aliens on board! Attention, aliens on board!" Because
Yeah.
it's not every day that you get to see some humans abducting an alien.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. We are followed up with the very familiar docking bay pan, as you come to see every time. Now we've used that at least 18 times, I think, now at this point. And they go towards flight deck. It's flight deck number 7, and then we get to the door where it's jammed. Savorium, that's what it is. It's Savorium. Jacob has a metal you lack on Earth, is what he says. Savorium bracelet, which somehow just can short circuit the motherships without, like, have to blow up the door, but supposedly they'll seal the flight deck. But this thing overloads it without them sealing the flight deck, I guess. I don't know what it is.
He's got the power of the Schwartz fielding.
That's really what it looks like, honestly. That's exactly what it looks like. Later on, it looks even more like that. Jacob and Ham and Mike get into a skyfighter. I mean, another great 80s dialogue there between Ham and Mike. Here they come. Here we go. But
and then we get recycled shots and more Star Wars stuff.
We get the recycled final battle shot, obviously, where the visitors are also, there's a lot of visitors there firing at the skyfighter. But then once the skyfighter gets off, here we go. It's back to our usual, the only skyfighter chase we've ever really seen. And it's happened for like the 4th time now, I think, as the battle takes place. It's more about we get the outside shots we've seen, they cut to the inside shots where Ham slides into the back seat and the skyfighter shakes a lot when the lasers hit
Luke and Han, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so you get used to it at this point. And there's more great lines of dialogue at that point. Donovan gets to talk some shit to him. I thought you were a marksman. Just fly the damn ship.
The point is not to crash. I thought you said the point was not to crash or not to get hit. The point is not to get hit. Speaking of crashing, they do. Which was, crash. I mean, I keep saying this, but it's true. The show was just really giving me the A-Team. And they should have just made it a show about the aliens have completely taken over and these are just people trying to live. Okay, I guess I'm making it The Walking Dead, but with aliens. But you get my point. So, I mean, this is really, for me, giving Holiday in the Hills where Murdoch says, and I'm not going to get this quote perfect because I was trying to find the episode and I couldn't, but I didn't crash. I landed with extreme vertical aggression due to a total loss of thrust.
That's fair enough. I also love, though, that so Donovan uses the force field, obviously. He flies up and the skyfighter gets burnt by the force field, which is new footage, obviously. We never saw the skyfighter
is that
burnt
what that was? I'll be honest, I didn't grasp it.
Oh, yeah, he pulls up, the skyfighter goes right into the force field and vaporizes. And Donovan comes out really quick and goes, the only way to fly. Flash back to him. Shit, we're crashing. Pretty much the last war. But Donovan and Ham do crash outside not anywhere near where Kyle was, unfortunately. But we break first Julie back to Nathan in Science Frontiers, trying to spy on Nathan from his own office. Trying to spy on Nathan in the top secret room, which I guess the cameras have access to. And she has cameras 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, those camera controls were strange. And also touchscreen, which I thought was interesting.
I did too, very at the time. But I also think, like, you got pan, tilt, and zoom. You got to figure, like, there's no degree. Like, it's just pan. Like, how far are you panning? Are you supposed to press it?
I feel like it's like the zoom in button on Google. It just like keeps zooming you in.
Okay.
But I was really like, he's blocking he's blocking like the position of the keyboard, so she can't see what the code is, even though it's
obvious.
So obvious. It's fine. But I'm just like, girl, just say enhance. It worked for the guy on Blade Runner.
There you go. So we get to Don and Ham and Jacob in their crash. Lydia tells Diana their crash, and Diana send out the forces, and we get this great shot of the motorcycles flying around over the hill, the Jeeps coming up over the hill to showcase, yes, we got a lot of forces in the area, I guess. Okay.
I think we need more Jeep battles.
I agree. That would be a lot of fun.
And it's not because of Jurassic Park.
Not because Jurassic Park. Are you sure?
No. My love for white Jeeps comes from Clueless.
Fair enough. But it doesn't hurt. Jurassic
But
Park
they do use those Jeeps pretty sporadically.
That's true. That's very true. Donovan touches base with the Resistance headquarters. And of course, I love it when Julie's going to go sneak off. And Willie says, Julie, may I guard your body?
So sweet. So touching.
Yes. And she laughs at him pretty much. Poor Willie.
I think she's endeared.
She is.
Who wouldn't be? I don't trust anyone who's not endeared by Willie.
That's true. Willie is pretty much the patron saint of the show at this point, I think. Yeah, I do think so.
And also, he's apparently given them everything they need to know.
He is the token visitor. He's going to be, whenever they need anything visitories, he's going to be the go-to.
Google PLD.
He is the Google. I like that. Willie Google. Google Willie.
With a terrible sense of hat.
And also not going to Google Translate, unfortunately. Not the
No. This is early Google before spell check. And
you got to update that. Definitely needs an update. Willie 3.0 or something. I don't know. So we go back to our crew, and we get the ham-handed moment, a melodrama of the episode as Donovan and Jacob have the conversation. And there's no subtlety here. And like, Jacob, you're smarter than that. Like, Jacob's really smarter than that. Donovan's like, he's like, I can't help you. I'm not going to kill. And they're like, we don't want you to kill. We need you to just kill the force field, which is what you want to do in the first place. You didn't want to put the force field up. Now you're bitching about taking down the force field. Again,
not good writing.
Right.
It's just simply not. Like, this could be an interesting possible, conversation to have. But again, it can't just be in a one-off episode. It just does not work for that. And it can't be in the situation where it's not actually relevant.
Right. Like, I like what they basically, it seemed like they wrote this scene just to get Donovan to the point to get to say that, we need your help to keep us alive, and talking about that kind of thing. And it's not a bad thing to say, but first of all, Jacob's too intelligent for this conversation to spur Donovan in that direction. Donovan shouldn't have to go in that direction. So it's good intentions, but again, poorly executed, as always. Luckily, it doesn't take too long because then Ham comes up.
I mean, is it good intentions though? Because I feel like I don't know. It's just sometimes I get a little iffy on how pacifists are written in situations like these.
I mean, good intentions for Donovan, particularly.
Yes.
Donovan was saying. Jacob was just not written well at all. His pacifism thing, like, you could be pacifist and still be on the side of righteousness, and it's not black and white like Jacob's written as, and that's why the intentions are not very good there. They don't care about it. It's not even that I don't think Jacob has any intentions. They don't have any intentions. They don't care about him. They just want to give Donovan a good place to shine. And Mark Singer does well with the dialogue he's given, as always. But then we break back, and Ham comes in, and sure enough, 2 seconds later, there's troopers right on the road, and like troopers down, like he's trying to hide, but there's nowhere really to hide from where they are, from the troopers are. But luckily, Kyle comes running to the rescue, or driving to the rescue, driving over him with this, I don't know what you call it. Is that a Jeep? I don't know. It might be a Jeep of his own, of some kind. But they fire away, they destroy the troops that are there, and we learn that it was Elizabeth who saved the day
with her Jedi powers.
With her Jedi powers. Again, she's a home and beacon. Figures out where they are. And then we get to your favorite moment of the episode, I'm sure, again.
The Zonsense. This whole thing is Zonsense.
Where Jacob, who is blind, knows Elizabeth, knows where the mark of Zon is, even though he's blind. Doesn't know anything, just look, she has the mark of Zon.
Because they both have the power of the Schwartz.
The power of the Schwartz. And it's funny how, like, they all gonna just trust him with her. I know they say he's a pacifist and everything, but like, you're just gonna leave this alien who just found out about, who just kidnapped, who is some kind of weird scientist or whatever, kind of mad scientist.
You're just letting him wander away.
Right. It's like, what the hell?
I don't know about this, guys. I don't think you're very tactical.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't
think this is very strategic.
But we do learn that Eamon will come for her one day and find her, and everything's going to be hunky-dory when that happens, supposedly. But Zonsense, and I really like that Zonsense. I'm going to definitely adapt that. That'll be in the description. Zonsense.
Because it is.
It is. All right, so we jump back into Science Frontiers. Julie uses some kind of alarm code thing to get the guard away from the door. Fine, I buy that. She gets into the door. She gets into the room and starts trying to plug in random 4 digits. Now, luckily, in this day and age, I guess you didn't have a limit of how many times you could try. This isn't like the iPhone. Try after 5 times you get locked out. Not so here. I guess you can try 1,000,000 times because.
Oh no, I absolutely. I'm so happy to have an Android. I don't have that because I type my thing in wrong all the time. I would have so many problems with Apple.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I don't think there's a limit to it though. I don't know. I never reached it, but I definitely be hitting. You know, when you're tired and you're just like, I don't know, numbers.
I'm close, but not quite. Fair enough.
I think I type too fast, so sometimes like it doesn't, or I don't hit the button hard enough. So it's like it starts with the second number.
Right. So you skip the one. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. I do that as well, but luckily I don't do it too often, or else I would be locked out of my iPhone. So, but then it'd only be for a couple minutes. But still, either way,
guys, iPhones, they're just stressful. They're not for the clumsy.
Sure. You're right. I gotta say, my sister-in-law worked for Apple, so I have to be a little loyal. So damn you, Androids. I'm not really. So we jump back, and Donovan and company are driving away, and visitor guards come. And it's amazing what that laser rifle can do, or laser pistol can do. It can knock down a tree.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
That's why it was smart for Donovan to pick up the laser. Why you should keep the laser the entire time. Budget be damned.
But also, they don't want to go around knocking over all those trees. That's a lot of work, Billy.
That is true.
And honestly, I think they should start more fires. I feel like they used to start more fires.
Yeah, that's a good point. So they're driving away. Julie's trying the code again, and what happens? Galen comes in out of nowhere like a bat out of hell, like he knew something was going on. It was kind of
that porn stash is on the case.
Boom, gets the gun and everything. And then, funny enough, he just puts the gun away. And my first instinct was like, why are you doing that? But then I went to, yeah, he's a cocky son of a bitch. This actually makes sense. He's like, I don't need my gun with this.
With that mustache? PLD's on top of the world. He's not cocky. He's just feeling it.
I don't need the gun. I got the stash. I can seduce this one with my stash. That's all I need to do.
Tom Selleck, watch out.
Get a little bit of fight going on, and then what happens? This is something I wanted to point out to you. A couple episodes ago, I talked about how Willie was a martial arts expert and should be teaching defense classes. And what happens? He busts right in. He starts he's ready to go, man. He's ready to go. If Julie didn't shoot him,
he was giving Buzz Lightyear karate chop action.
It's a special visitor martial art that we don't know. It's not Brovok.
Oh, I was saying Brovok.
It's different than Brovok. It's a much more, it's a less aggressive, more defensive type of struggle, I guess.
It's more like Dude-Vok.
Yes.
Or like Bud-Vok.
Bud-Vok, I like.
Guy-Vok, you know?
Either way, like I said, Willie, martial arts expert, ready to go.
I really want to, I don't think I could quote it right, but long distance, low commitment girlfriend, Robach. I don't think I quite got it. I've only seen Barbie twice. I need to go see it again.
I did too. I've only seen it once, so I really couldn't quote it for you, but I did love it. I did enjoy it. So, all right.
Be able to quote it word for word.
Well, you had a couple more times to go, I think.
You know,
at least 2 more times.
I went to see Ferris Bueller's Day Off the other day, and I was surprised. I really could do it word for word.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't think I'd seen it that many times, but clearly I was wrong.
Sometimes you just get it by this like an osmosis. Like it's just there in the background and even watching it, just kind of.
And it's just real quotable, which I feel like Barbie also is.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You know, it just kind of lives rent free up here.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Tremors, you know, those three.
Tremors, Barbie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if anyone else ever put those three in the same box,
Sentence?
same sentence. You will, and I love you for it.
I feel like that's just like, if I could, maybe like an American Werewolf in London, and that just sums up my personality.
That makes a lot of sense. A whole lot of sense. All right. We jump back to the Resistance, driving around Donna and company. Kyle does something to the van and the engine gets shot or something, and so they have to run away. I don't know. They stop to look for a second, but they run still.
They did have a good car crash in this episode. I was very like, But the show does have an extreme lack of explosion budget, which is very disappointing.
Yeah,
it seemed like 80s movies and TV show always had a really good explosion budget, and this one just doesn't. And it is visible.
It should. This is one of the shows that absolutely should, more than others, honestly.
Right?
But either way, Julie getting exasperated because she can't find the code. Donovan's like, I don't know. What about you, Kyle? Kyle! So Mike figures out the code for Julie.
And then I like Kyle thinks it's like, but what if it's wrong? Because he would. Because he's like, my dad, he's all broody. My dad doesn't like me.
Love me. I wonder if Kyle thinks differently. If Donovan goes, yeah, the password was Kyle. And Kyle's like, oh, really? Make him think differently? I don't know. But no, we're not smart enough to get that kind of conversation in this show at all. So.
Wouldn't it be funny if the password was Nate?
Chang. How about Chang? No, Chang is not 4 letters. It can't go Chang.
I mean, Nate's 4 letters.
Nate is. That's true. We could do Nate. It could have been Julie somehow. Jule, Jule.
No. It was going to be Kyle or Nate.
All right, fair. Maybe King. Good to be King. I don't know.
Really, really lowering my my view of Nathan though. You made Kyle your password. You fool. Fool should have been your password because you're a fool.
Absolutely. Fool. Making you out to be a fool.
More like pity the fool.
Pity the fool.
You bringing those A-Team references around. But also, I think they didn't have a lot of explosions on their show. Because I remember correctly, they weren't allowed to show people getting killed.
Right.
So you'd have them like shooting and stuff, and people would just be lit.
Well, there'd be explosions. What they usually did is there'd be like little mini explosions, and the people you'd see the guy fly off into boxes or something.
Yeah, and then like car crashes and stuff. But it was clear that the people in the car crashes didn't die. But I was thinking like maybe there's something similar here where we're not supposed to see people die in car crashes. Maybe. The 80s just had an extreme aversion to people dying in car crashes.
Maybe. It's actually much like G.I. Joe, the cartoon G.I. Joe back in the day. You'd always see them like shooting planes down, but they always had to see the person like going down with a parachute afterwards. Nobody could die in a plane crash. So either way. So we have a final showdown where the visitors come. Elizabeth is sent out with Jacob to cross the bridge. And this is I'm kind of like surprised at too. You're going to let Elizabeth, who is supposedly so important, and her scientists just go on through.
They yelled after them. It was very Willy Wonka. No, don't come back.
And here it is. They're walking on like, we don't really know. Like, how do they know how big this tunnel is? Like,
he has the bracelet, KLD. He's magic. He's got the Zonsense.
that's
and the power.
Not just Zonsense. The Zon.
And
space
also, being visually impaired, I'm assuming that he just has some sort of like telepathic link to the field itself. Like he knows his vibrations.
Elizabeth does have the force.
That's true.
But I did notice though, like because if you watch the scene, there's like the white line of the road, and I think that's where the tunnel had ended, and Elizabeth gets really close to that at one point. I'm like watching her feet. I'm like, if she touched that line, she would be dead, but she's not. She's smart enough just to stay away. We get some exhibition because Jacob decides he's gonna sacrifice himself with his bracelet of Savorium because somehow during this conversion process he's able to stay smart enough in like the 2 minutes that he's there. I realize this later on. He's like really only being converted for 2 minutes. He presses like 5 buttons and somehow makes the relay go through his bracelet. I'm not sure how that works. I don't know how he plugged that in anyhow. But we're gonna buy it. We're just gonna
1.21 gigawatts. This is the electrical rod on the DeLorean. All right. And it's, draining the power from the relay. Okay. Yeah. And then all this disappears, including him.
And why is it that he lifts the bracelet up and all of a sudden the skies change?
Yeah, it got very Night of the Comets.
Absolutely what I thought. I'm like, this really is Night of the Comet. What's going on here?
And this part of the episode to me felt very, very, very Power Rangers. I don't know why.
It did. And he crackles a thing where it's like really okay. The effects are not great. The tunnel, like the tornado goes around him. Everything started blowing up. Even the force field computers in the mothership and the relay station, somehow they're all blowing up. But the force field is destroyed for good, I guess. And then Donovan has a great line where Kyle says something like, well, what happened? How do you figure? And he's like, and Donovan says something effective like, you don't figure it out. You just thank God you have what you love or something. Oh, yeah, sorry. How do you figure that one? And Donovan is like, you don't. You just thank whatever it is you believe in.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Mike.
Ridiculous. Okay, and then we get one last Diana scene.
And did you notice that the dead ensign from last episode is back?
Yes, I did. Because I was looking at it. I'm like,
no explanation. Same character who Diana shot at the end of last episode is back.
Were these episodes supposed to be swapped?
I wonder that. I don't have any information on that. It almost feels like that, doesn't it? Because that would actually explain the Elizabeth thing as well. Because then Elizabeth being tailed away, and her actually would make it more of a story.
More sense the other way around.
Yeah, because then next episode, Elizabeth's like, I was just on a mission with you with Jacob, and we did well. I want to continue to fight this thing. It actually feels like it's less episodic if you put this episode first. That would make sense. I like that.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot more sense.
So maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. And from now on, I think I'll watch it that way. Otherwise, the way I explained it in my notes, I said maybe because we know that Diana and this ensign got it on last episode after like the seductive dinner of tarantulas.
Yeah, so, she gave his face to another one of them.
That's something. She loved the face and voice so much. She's like, I'll shoot this guy. All right, we're going to get this guy over here. He's got to get the same face, same voice box or something, whatever you want to do. Make it sound the same.
It would have been cool if there were only like 10 visitor styles.
Right. I mean, so you got to see a lot of the same person over and over again, even though the different characters. That would be kind of different.
And it would make it more interesting in terms of like, who do I trust?
Right. Which one is which? You could play a lot with that. Kind of like the Cylons in a way, in Battlestar Galactica too, to a degree.
I will take your word for that.
Fair enough. But anyway, he is back from the dead to tell us that Lydia has taken a fighter back to the leader. Of course, she's traveling in a sky fighter or a shuttle, which I didn't think was supposed to be able to travel that far.
Yeah, I have many follow-ups. Maybe there's like a space station?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they stopped at Jupiter or something that you could fly out that far and then go from there. I don't know. But it did seem kind of weird that she took that kind of fighter to go back. But Diana takes an option.
You don't have an option. You're going to take the raft and paddle best you can. Hope you make it back and you're not eaten by that giant shark. One might call it a Meg 2, the trench.
Which I still haven't seen yet, unfortunately.
Oh, I just saw it yesterday.
Yeah? Is it fun, at least? No.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's one of those movies like, I don't understand. I'm bored, but I'm having a great time too.
Okay. Well, that's all I care about. I mean, I enjoyed the first one. It's not a great movie, but I had fun watching it.
Oh, yeah. And it's pretty. It's long. Yeah. There's Megs.
There's Megs. That's all I really care about. You get to see the big shark. That's all I really need to see. So, all right. So Diana takes a shot from the mothership and blows up Lydia's skyfighter. So Lydia is assumed dead at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I grew up in the era of if you don't see a body, they're not.
I understand. Dead. I understand your hesitance and your reticence. I get it. But that will be for the future, whether we finally see a body or not. But either way, the episode ends and we are done. So, overall thoughts on the episode?
I mean, honestly, I had quite a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Starting to get into the drama, Yeah. The action is repetitive, but fine. Mm-hmm. I like I'm still digging the Kyle, Donovan, and Ham stuff.
Yeah.
I know Robin doesn't die, but I could still hope for it.
You can. It is always worth hoping for. You never know.
And who know what Willie's gonna say next or do? He's so sweet.
He is. He's worth playing for.
He's almost a himbo, but not quite.
I never thought of it that way, but yeah, he doesn't quite have the looks that a himbo should have.
No, he doesn't.
Which makes it really unfortunate for him. But he is sweet.
Maybe he dressed a little differently.
Maybe. I did like we got to see him in different clothes a little bit there when he goes out to guard Julie's body.
Well, like for instance,
he rocks that hat.
If you gave him Freddy's outfit, but kept the personality, it could be himbo.
Could be. I don't know, but a sweater in LA just seems a little bit, I mean.
Listen, if you're from LA, here's the thing, people, okay? If you're from LA, the coldest it gets there is going to be low 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, that's going to be cold because that's the coldest you've ever been in.
That's fair. That's a fair statement, I guess.
That's someone who would literally be in a hoodie and sweatpants shivering, just shaking. My teacher thought I was dying once. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. Like she thought there was a legitimate problem.
Poor girl, you poor cold girl. My God. Have you acclimated since moving away from California? Can you handle it?
Okay, not really. It's probably in the 60s here, and I'm just like, it's so cold. I don't understand how people live. I think I need to get thicker socks or something. It's not going to go well for me.
Fair enough. Well, I will agree with you that I still have fun. Like I said, I liked this episode a lot when I was a kid, and rewatching it, I still had fun with it. I love the Donovan and Ham stuff. I do love Kyle I like Kyle when he's with the Resistance. When he's with Elizabeth and Robin, it's a little much, but there is something like a car crash that you don't look away from about it, that you still kind of want to figure out what's going on or see what happens at least. Yeah, it's still watchable. It's still fun to me, and I'm glad we still have a little bit left in the season. We still have we're about halfway through now, right? Episode 8. So we got a little more than halfway. We're a little under halfway through. So a lot left to go. So next episode, which we're going to talk about next week or 2 weeks from now, rather, is the Christmas episode.
Ooh.
Very special Christmas episode in V. And I will say there are a lot of cool moments in this episode. I'm going to say.
And you've already confirmed we're not in the Tommy Westfall universe.
Correct. Unfortunately.
So we're not. The whole thing is not taking place in a snow globe.
No, it is not in a snow globe. We were outside a snow globe.
Oh wow! Is Krampus in the Tommy Westfall universe? Conversation for another time.
Yeah, we'll look into that. We'll let you guys know next time. I will give you one more, not spoiler, but a hint, a tease. We do get a return of a character, someone we haven't seen for a little bit.
Is it Martin?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say a thing. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's up to you whether you like it or not. We'll have to see. I'm curious as to there's reasons why you'll like it. There's reasons why you'd like it, and there's reasons why you won't like it.
Robert's ghost.
That's what it is. Robert, it's a Scrooge episode. Robert is the ghost of Christmas Past.
I'd be into it.
Yeah. It'd be the ghost of Zon Past, though, probably. Let's be honest. Ghost of Eamon's Past. Happy Zonmas to you.
You've ruined it. What is the Kashyyyk holiday from Star Wars?
Life Day. Right?
Life Day. I'm gonna see if I can watch it, and I'm just gonna make Life Day references.
Fair enough. I love it. Let's do it. All right. Where can the folks find you, Lego?
I am Legoland13 on YouTube or the Horror Explorer on Instagram. You can also find me on the Rob Fishback Network. And I've convinced him to just talk about horror movies with me. Okay, and we have to talk about musicians and stuff sometimes too, but mostly, the horror stuff.
You gotta give a little to get a little, I guess, in a way.
Is that a song?
Probably.
Song?
Give a little bit. Let's give a little bit of love. Yeah, all that stuff.
Close enough.
I love the horror talk, as you know. You can find me here doing horror talk. Well, usually doing horror talk with PJ Campbell every other week. Two mediocre white dudes on film. We did take a week off. I went to Arizona to visit PJ. That was a lot of fun, but did kind of throw us off our schedule a little bit. Next week, actually, depending on when you're hearing this, I don't even know when you're hearing this. We're in the Friday the 13th episodes saga. We are going to be recording Friday the 13th this coming Tuesday from today. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. A week from now, we're doing it. Either way, Jason Lives is our next one. Friday the 13th, part 6. I can't wait. And of course, I'm happy to talk about this here because it does star Elizabeth. Jennifer Cook is in Jason Lives. So a little bit of a
yes, she is. She's back.
She is back.
The star child behind the Zonsense.
Yes, a much different character in Jason Lives, I will say.
You know what? If that's the type of personality Elizabeth had, infinitely better show.
Infinitely better show, 100% of the way.
And his Robin was more like, is it Mick?
Mick.
Yes, more like Mick.
Yes, Mick.
Her dad, yeah.
Yes,
that'd have been. This show would be fun because she was trying to kill Kyle, which would be interesting.
Definitely make it more
fun to watch.
Sure.
That man was so trigger happy.
Oh God, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Oh God,
he was a hazard.
And then the deputy who had the big old laser pointer
where the red dot goes.
Red dot goes. And a new one, Tom Matthew would be his first time as Tommy Jarvis, who is now actually starring in the Womp Stomp films Never Hike Alone, which Never Hike Alone 2 just came out. I highly enjoyed it. Yes. Highly enjoyed it. We're actually be covering them as well at the end of our. We're going to go through we're including them in our Friday the 13th watch through because
there are a lot of really good Friday the 13th and Halloween fan films. Not as many Friday the Nightmare on Elm Streets because I think it's a little hard to do. There are a few. Womp Stomp did
Dylan's New Nightmare. Dylan's New Nightmare, which was really good. Miko Hughes.
Yes, Miko Hughes. But not as many because it's just harder to do. But I definitely recommend. There's so many great Halloween and Friday the 13th
ones. It's easier. It's much easier to play Jason or Michael because you just put a mask on. You just got to be impressive and intimidating.
And also,
it's all about filmmaking. When you're Freddy, you got to be Robert Englund. Speaking of Willie, look at that. We're all talking about horror, and it's all about V. Having to compare with Robert Englund is much harder, as Jackie Earle Haley found out. Although that was more to the writing, I think, than to anything else.
That was a lot of things. So
I think he could have done a great job. I just think he was.
I don't think he was right.
I think he could have been right. He was directed to be a different Freddy than Robert was.
Kind of need a darker Joker, whereas Jackie Earle Haley is more of just creeper. He was given creeper.
He was. I will say that I will hold to the fact that I believe if written the proper way, I think he played the Freddy that was written. It wasn't a very well written Freddy. That's the problem. But the guy who did do the Nightmare film on Womp Stomp, I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. I apologize. But he did a very good job. He did a very good job channeling the Robert Englund Freddy.
I don't know. Do you watch Stranger Things?
I do.
Okay, so I do think that Jamie Campbell Bower.
Oh, he would be phenomenal.
Would be really great.
100%, he would be phenomenal.
Really, really great. Yeah, and plus there's that fun connection there now. And absolutely. I think that energy is kind of more what Freddy needs to be if you want to establish a new franchise or to actually continue the franchise more than a one-off.
100% agree, and I still hope we get one at some point. I think it's got to happen at some point. They're going to do it.
Is that one? I know Friday the 13th has a lot of rights issues. Does Nightmare on Elm Street? I don't know.
I think there might be some rights issues. There's got to be. I figure because it's been so long. Because horror has made such a comeback. I don't know if there's. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of issues holding it up. I don't know what it would be necessarily.
It's strange to me that Halloween got a new trilogy, and
Right.
then I feel like it's a little easier,
Right.
and then you get oh gosh, Exorcist. I don't think it's getting a trilogy.
I don't think it is either. But no, the problem is, I think they might have already sunk enough the money into it.
I mean, they spent like over like
$400 million or
almost
something like that.
$500 million with a B billion. Did they really think the Exorcist franchise was worth that? I don't want to be mean, but I don't think it
No,
is.
I
I
don't
mean,
think it was either.
have diminishing returns.
It's had one good sequel.
3?
The third one is the only one that's worth
Legion.
talking about, and that's still like not like a franchise starting type sequel. The first one, probably one of the scariest movies of all time. Really well done. I love it. I do enjoy the Exorcist. Everything after that, it's crap. I mean, that second film is one of my least favorite films sequels in a
Yeah,
franchise.
it's not good.
It's
It's real
not
bad.
good.
I really like Legion. Legion is, I think, a very well made and executed film. It's not the first film,
No.
but it's still really good. It definitely lives in the shadow of the first film. And then you have like Dominion and the beginning, which is weird. That whole situation was so
I know.
strange.
I can't believe the movie. Like, I can't believe the studio like puts out a movie and it's not well received and shit on. They decide to sink even more money into it
They
to put
sunk it
originals.
in before. I think
Okay.
there was 2 different studios, and then one released they're like, they don't like it, we're refilming. They
Right.
released, I think, that one first, and then the
Right.
original second.
Yeah. That's what it was because they released because they didn't like the way it was going, so they have it reshot by Rennie Harlan, who makes a new story out of it. Rennie Harlan's version gets released, and it gets shit on, and then they sink even more money into it to finish up the original version, and then they
Wild.
release that, and it's like,
It would be like if they released what they had filmed of Solo and finished it, and then they're like, "Well,
whoa,
Ron Howard's first," and then like, "Oh, people didn't like it, so we'll do the Lord and Miller one
let's go back
too."
to the Gordon Miller version, right?
Like, but both. That's insane.
It's
I wonder if people realize that because I remember watching. I definitely seen both of them.
I
I
did
don't
too
remember like,
recently.
and I don't think I realized that that was technically 2 different films.
Yeah, well, 'cause it's the same basic storyline,
It's
kinda.
a little different, but the
I
cast's
mean,
primarily the same.
it's the
And
same story,
Stellan
it
Skarsgård.
goes different ways within the story. And I don't know, making the whole background about Father Merrin, I just didn't think that was a
I actually think like that's a good place to go, over like having another possessed little girl.
I guess.
I really wish we could move on from like the monstrous feminine stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of old school in a way that seems kind of condescending,
Yeah.
actually.
I agree with that.
Um, I don't know, but maybe that's because I'm someone who menstruates. I just don't find that scary. Like becoming a woman, not horrifying, actually, not demonic.
Not demonic.
Really, actually.
I don't know. As someone who does not menstruate, it does terrify me a little bit. So I don't know, maybe, but
But
that's
I mean, Father Merrin is such an interesting character. I do think that that's a smart way to go, and I love the casting of Stellan Skarsgård. He's amazing, but it's
all
just
that. I feel like I feel like Father Merrin, like on paper, I understand why they did that, but in hindsight, it kind of just like made the whole film less special. I feel like Father Merrin's mysterious background worked for him in the original Exorcist. I kind of like him not knowing
so what you're
exactly.
saying is they should have made a prequel about Pazuzu.
Yes, exactly, something to that effect.
Like, give us the whole movie in hell.
Yes, that'd be better. Absolutely, let's do that. Um, either way,
Remake
I
The
don't know.
Exorcist, but totally from Pazuzu's perspective, and the movie ends when he's talking to her via Captain Howdy with the Ouija board.
I like where your mind's at. Let's do that. Let's go for it. Probably be better off than whatever David Gordon Green did, which I
Ooh.
haven't seen, so I shouldn't say
I
anything.
have not,
I
but
have not.
I
I
heard what
will.
happened to a certain character, and
Oh,
I was just really put off by that. I'm like,
okay.
why would you bring her back just to do this?"
I did not hear that, but I understand the idea behind what was going on, probably. So I would agree with you that it was probably a stupid thing to do, especially if you wanted to do a trilogy. I don't.
I just
Didn't
don't
they
know where
learn
they
their
were going
lesson?
for a trilogy
Didn't they learn
based
their
on
lesson? Like,
oh my god. Mm-mm.
I don't know. I don't know either.
Some
But
people just fail up. More
exactly.
power to them, I guess.
Well, he wants to leave too, but I don't know if that's he's already made cases about he doesn't want to come back and wants someone else to direct the sequels now. that might never happen.
Is it because they're getting so much hate?
I'm wondering if that's the case, or if one of the studios like, you know what? We'll let you save face by saying you want to leave, but you're leaving either way.
I mean, I just assume he must be the dopest dude to work with for him to keep getting this stuff. And I mean, if that's the case, if he's legitimately just like a really nice guy who wants to do this and the movies just aren't well received, I mean, then I don't have any negative feelings about it. It's like, that's fine. Whatever.
Halloween 2018 was pretty well received. I know you don't like it very much. I understand why. I think it was pretty well received overall.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills and Ends were not. So I don't know, but either way, Exorcist getting work and Freddy's not. That's sad to me. At least Friday the 13th, we're working on something, and now Halloween actually is going to be working on again. We got news about the TV series potentially in the world of Halloween 3.
Oh, okay. Now that's interesting.
That's what Malek Akkad is pushing for. They got the TV rights. Want to do is maybe a series set in that world. I don't know if that means Tom Atkins comes back. I hope so. But either way, I don't know.
I mean, at this point, they're all just Carly Beth from Goosebumps, right? Like they're fully been controlled by the mask, and I'm here for it. Let's go Silver Shamrocks.
Oh,
8 more days to Halloween. I think it is 8 days to Halloween, actually.
You're right. Close to it. It's 23. Yeah, you're right. At this point, we're recording. It is 8 days from Halloween. Which hopefully we'll have a movie again soon as well. At some point. I mean, I don't care. I like it or not. Halloween Ends was never going to be the end. And we all knew that.
They don't have a final Halloween yet. You know, we have a final Nightmare. Okay. We have a final chapter.
We have 2 Final Fridays.
Yes, we do. And we have the final Friday, but we don't have final Halloween. They got to keep going until they give us the final Halloween.
Final Halloween. That's true.
And then they have to make one more after that because that's just the rule.
That is just the rules. But I would say this: don't aim on making a trilogy. Make one good film at a time. That's my advice to whoever does take over for the next Halloween. But here we are. We're trying to leave. We actually are 15 minutes after. We're just going on about horror now. As you start getting us going on horror, we're going to talk about horror. So yes, you can talk about 2 Miracle What You've Done film with Friday the 13th. I do my Queen podcast every week, as well as my Star Wars podcast every week. Although it's been a couple weeks since we've done that as well. Scheduling's been kind of crazy, but we're going to be back soon. If this is your first time here, click that like, that subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave reviews on the audio. And if you want to help the channel even further, patreon.com/PLD projects. Join such stalwart individuals as Austin Cadell, Jeremiah Morris, Matthew Kearns, and Brendan Buckingham, Jeff Altman. Couldn't do it without you, all the rest of my patrons. You really help get the lights on. You really fund everything I do. Thumbnails, StreamYard, all that kind of stuff goes to that. So I really do appreciate you guys tremendously. And I guess that's it. Without anything further, we will see you next time on the very special Christmas episode of V. Until then, happy Zonmas and pray to Nama.